So I just said, you need to have a main.edu account for this. This is what we're going to use. You have to, and just reiterated that, and eventually they got used to it, and eventually they figured it out. But you can't, assume, like I have in the past, that just because they're younger, they are better with web technologies, because they are not. They will have to be, this is as simple as it gets, right? But a little bit of demonstration would be useful. It highlights something else about this, which is, it's not a, feature-rich thing that's going to go head-to-head with Blackboard. If you want to manage all of your grading and, have these integrated blogs and subgroups, and that's another point, which is I haven't used it for an online class, and I think in some ways it might be really good because it's simple, but there might be some limitations which I haven't come across, and so you'd want to think through that. It's a good question. I think so. I have used FirstClass. I used it here, and I think it's a good comparison to make. The first thing that I think about with FirstClass is that I was using FirstClass in high school in 1995. I graduated in 95, so it was available in the early 1990s with the same feature set that it has now. So it hasn't evolved at all since that time, which is okay. But I think it doesn't. It's built on old technology. And so Google Classroom, in a certain way, is not comparable because it's solving a different problem. It's solving a new problem, whereas FirstClass is solving a problem that existed in the early 90s, which is the bulletin board systems. And there were a number of bulletin board systems that some of you may remember. They were awesome at the time. And so, I think what Google Classroom does is designed around having classes, but you don't have to be a student in the university to be a student here. And so as I hinted in that little thing, you could use this for faculty, committees. You could use this for, research groups. And so I'm actually just about to start experimenting with using it that way, just because it collects a lot of stuff into a single place rather than having it sort of dispersed over communication here and there. So I haven't used it for non-educational purposes yet, but in my mind it accomplishes the same set of things in that you have a list of people who are in the group, and you can communicate with them over email and through the comments, and you can share files and folders that are restricted to those people. So I suppose one of the things that it doesn't do, which FirstClass does, is FirstClass has some open all university full access folders. And Google Classroom is not designed for that. FirstClass, if you've ever dealt with files in FirstClass, right, it's sort of like this crazy nightmare where uploading is like an extra 3 clicks more than it needs to be, and downloading, and their windows, and that is all it just melts away when you're just dealing with an integrated Google Drive. And so communicating with students it's easier, it's more flexible, it's integrated with your Gmail. Then there's also the feedback, then there's the, individualized feedback, group feedback. And for the teaching, which of course is the main point, I don't see any downsides to using Google Classroom in comparison if the alternative is FirstClass. And I found over time, not surprisingly, that it's easier for me if they just do a Google Doc, right? Because then I can go in, I can edit, I can make comments, I can give my feedback, and done. If they attach a Microsoft Word document, I can still do all of those things, but usually what will happen is they attach that, and then I bring it in, I open it, I tell Google to convert it, it converts it, then it's a new thing, I do all of my stuff, and then I'm sending them back the new one. So it just adds a couple of clicks to my workflow. And so in the end I said, okay, at first I was being more flexible, and then it was just a waste of my time. just use the easy stuff, the stuff that makes it easy. But yes, they can upload all sorts of different stuff.
I mean,
They can upload whatever.
in my work, I'm going to have to